Hello guys, just Goran here and welcome back to another episode of building the Beekse Bergen. In the last episode we built the sloth bear habitat, including the bear bridge and all sorts of other things. And in a live stream we did shortly after that episode went live, you can already see one kind of flopping about, if the game can stop freezing. We added some North American river otters to this habitat, to kind of act as a replacement for the Asian small-clawed otter, and they look freaking amazing. Yeah, I know I said, at least I think I said at some point, that I wasn't gonna add any mods for the time being, because I don't want people downloading the zoo on the workshop to have to download a whole bunch of mods to be able to enjoy this zoo. But I figured there's already some there's already some black bears acting as sloth bears in this habitat, so if someone downloads the zoo and doesn't have the North American River Otter mod, they will still see the bears in this habitat and have something to look at. So I thought, yeah, a couple of North American River Otters probably won't hurt, and I'm really happy with what they look like in here. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, all good on that department. But today, today we are going to be working on the red panda habitat. Let's pause the game for a moment. So yeah, the red panda habitat right next to the sloth bear habitat, and I've already done a bunch of things. Of course, we already had most of the climbing frames, and last episode we actually moved the red panda habitat back by 4 meters because it was in the wrong spot. But today or last night rather, I've already kind of expanded all of these walls over here. We can see this nice kind of broken, there's some bricks sticking through walls, then here it turns to just regular concrete. Also some brick in there, and there's some kind of algae and stuff growing on these. And we have a bunch of kind of rocks and whatnot all over the place. There's actually a lot of cool things about this habitat already, including this little viewing area over here, which is something we tested out last time I built this, which was in a live stream like 6 months ago. We already tested out little viewing areas using these. But yeah, as I was building these viewing areas just now, I realized that things are kind of off a little bit. I noticed I had way too little space for these little viewing areas over here. And last night already I had to kind of move stuff around a little bit to get everything in line with the grid, which was already an indication that things weren't completely correct. After all, I also moved this building back a bit, which I kind of have to look into because now these things aren't lined up properly. So yeah, gotta do some fixing up there. I'm actually thinking of moving this gate back a little so that we have some space for those things. And this is a staff area, so it doesn't really matter if we move things into here a little bit, because we do kind of have the space to have some inaccuracies here. So but yeah, the problem right now is that over here I kind of need from over here to over here-ish for this viewing area, is what it's supposed to be. So this entire wall needs to be kind of, I think, 2 meters that way, which isn't a lot, but it is actually exactly the amount of space that I'm currently kind of missing. So too bad that I've already kind of completed this entire area and now I'm gonna have to move it. That's not gonna look great, but whatever. Oh yeah, by the way, this is also pretty cool. We got, using fun pieces, we've got these little support things for the trees, which are pretty newly planted. Anyway, time for me to fix up this side and finish that little viewing area over there, and then we'll look into the rest of the habitat instead. Alright then, the moving of the things actually went a lot easier than expected. I could just select everything, move it back, make sure that this wall still aligned correctly. This wall is now a bit longer, so I extended all of this mud wall, temple, whatever stuff, and added some extra bricks on top. So that all looks fine, and yeah, after that I went in and put in the entire moat. So we have this little concrete barrier made out of plaster pieces this time. It kind of looks stupid maybe that I'm using temple pieces here, concrete here, but it's kind of like it is in real life. Like, it's a lot of different materials. I think that this used to be the tapir habitat, I know that much. I don't know if it was anything else before then even, but I think after they kind of reconstructed the tapir habitat for the red pandas, or maybe even before then something else for the tapir habitat, I think they kind of overhauled the walls but left some of this concrete. I feel like this concrete is much older than what is over here, and that's why it kind of looks a little different. I think that's what's going on. But yeah, we got this nice little moat over here. Let's actually get rid of the water for a moment so you can see inside. So I've got this moss rock all the way around the concrete barriers to make it look like, again, like algae and stuff is growing on there. And then in here we have the underwater hydrilla plants, upside down and right side up, so that you get kind of a browner look to them than the otherwise green hydrilla plant would be. And it looks pretty good. It looks very messy and stuff, as it does in real life, which is great. And then there's a couple of these little wooden bridges. I don't know if this one's there in real life, but I kind of figured. I know that that one's there. I know there's one over here. Kind of figured there'd be one over there. Maybe there's one over here as well. But yeah, those are in the water there. And then there's a couple of small underwater plants in there as well. These sides are, let's get the water out again, actually very neatly done, even though no one will ever see it. But yeah, there's a diagonal and it kind of all lines up properly. And then on the outside here we have a trim of moss. There is kind of moss growing on the concrete, but this is mainly done because the moss is the easiest thing to kind of put there. And on this side there is actually, from what I can tell of the picture open on my other screen right now, there's actually no moss there. It's just kind of dirt. So let's get a tropical rock in there instead. So yeah, I got all of the free viewing areas in here. Might move them around a little bit, and I have to change what these fences look like to make it all fit the scale. But yeah, things are coming along. This is pretty cool. People are actually getting up to the little viewing areas. They're not going all the way up there, but they're kind of using them. Alright, so I had about 15 minutes of footage that did not include my voice, so I'm just gonna cut it up and show all of the most important bits of it and do a bit of a voiceover. So, first things first, I had this little spot where the temple pieces that I was using for this wall, they all looked the same, and even when rotating them, they looked the same, which is something that I normally do. I rotate the pieces to make sure that they all look a little bit different. And just to teach you guys over here, I'm showing you how you can do that with these pillar pieces, which are actually perfect for doing so, because you can rotate them around the green one as well as the blue one to get like 4 different kinds of textures that you can alternate between to have a varied wall. And you can do that for each of these pillars, so there's like 16 different textures that you can use based on how much space you have. So those are very useful. That's what I did all around my walls to make them look the way they do. So yeah, I wanted to teach you guys a little bit about that, but let's get into the habitat itself, because all the foliage is currently in. It's very lush. There's grass, there's creosote bushes to give all those yellow flowers. There's all sorts of things added. I've also finished the climbing frames. I had to make a couple of adjustments. There's this big diagonal log which was already there before. I had to change it because it turned out it interlocked with a different big branch sticking out in the back that I had to add because I hadn't built that one yet. It's pretty covered by all the little trees. These are, however, the smallest trees that we kind of have in game, so I didn't really have any other options. And to be fair, in real life, when all the trees have grown out, and especially in a year or two when the trees are going to be more grown, it's probably going to look more like this. which is a good thing because the red pandas are of course pretty shy creatures, so they want to have some spots where they can kind of hide themselves. But yeah, I've also made a little feeding platform like the one in the real life zoo, made out of the East Asia walleye brackets and this small water bowl from the habitat section. In real life these are just regular feeders that the pandas can climb on, and the baby pandas often sit inside the feeders, which I have many cute photos of. But yeah, I just tried to recreate those. Then this piece of concrete here is actually in the wrong spot. It should be at the halfway point of the building, so we have to move that. And lastly, I did a test version of the path that's going to cover up the viewing area. It was actually built using the elevated length option, which is the first time that I have ever used that, so that was kind of fun. So here I kind of show how you build that up. And I encountered this weird bug, I guess, where the path was actually blue, saying that I could place it there, but then it didn't let me place it. That was it. Yeah, sorry for not recording my voice straight away. I don't know what went wrong. I have been changing my setup lately. I am now using a voice meter, so if I forget to turn on that program, then I am not recording sound. I might have been streaming. I think that might actually be it. This is the first bit recorded since the new update, and I probably had my microphone muted because at the end of my streams I always mute my microphone. So that was probably it. But yeah, I should do a better job of checking before I record whether everything is ready. So my bad. Haha, I said that was it, but I forgot about the second clip that didn't have audio, which basically boils down to, hey, look, these people are using this viewing area correctly, yay! I often have trouble with people looking the opposite way. Then I have put in the habitat gates in their final position, so I put the bear habitat gate in the kind of wooden panel gate, and the red panda habitat gate is in the middle of the staff building, because the game didn't let me place it any closer, didn't let me place it inside the actual door, because of how kind of rough the terrain is around there. And then lastly, the pandas were able to jump out of their habitat, which I solved using upside down elephant grass. It's the oldest trick in the book. So yeah, let's get back to the real-time progress updates now. Alright, so I've been working on the viewing areas and I encountered a little bit of a small struggle that I thought I would share. So I was working on the main viewing area over here, which consists of a bunch of wood. As I said, I was going to just use the paths trim as the trim of the kind of platform as well. So all we have to really do is lay planks on top of that. Of course, I don't want to be able to see the path, so I'm using a layer of black plaster underneath there to make it look like there's just darkness under. I actually used the same trick back when we were building the viewing area for the hippos at the Congo area. But I was struggling with the shape of this viewing area a little bit, and luckily for me, I have an old video from 2018 when I was at the zoo, and this was actually still a tapir habitat. If you look over here, you can see the tapirs right there. But yeah, this video shows pretty nicely how this is laid up here. And I think I have this area too wide. What I'm mainly struggling with is if we go even further back in the video, we see that over here we have kind of a bridge area, and before that there's a bench. So if we look over here, I have space for that bench over here technically. I'm not actually sure if I really do. So say we were to put a bench here, it would technically fit. But yeah, we don't have space for that bridge as well. So I think I'm going to make a smaller bench, basically. That's not going to be functional. I'm going to put that like over here about. And we're just going to have to make this a little bit more crammed. Alright, problem averted. What I ended up doing was indeed move these fences kind of a little bit closer, making this a bit more narrow. redoing the pathing, also taking out some of the pathing for a moment so I could terraform this area and move this wall slightly more that way, which also increases the length of this little fence over here, which was a bit short compared to what it is in real life. So all in all, just a little bit of tweaking this area to give us that space that we need, and now everything is how it should be. So we just need a couple more poles and whatnot on these fences, need to add a staircase, and then the viewing area is basically done, and we can finish off this build by going to the backstage. And one more thing I do think I want to do before I move to the backstage is actually get rid of some of this grass. It's a little too lush. I like it, it looks beautiful, but I think it's a bit much. I think we're going to get rid of the natural grass and replace it with the eelgrass and just make it a little less tall. Man, this is just a habitat of setbacks. So the viewing area is all good, it looks great. We have people walking up it, we have people even standing on these viewing areas, which are all great. I just redid all the grass, which looks fine. I did like the regular in-game grass better, but I like that the grass is now not too much taller than the pandas. You can actually kind of see them walking around in there, which is very nice. But here's the big but. I forgot to put the water back in. So something's obstructing it. I think it's probably the staircase. Okay, so water back in. Staircase back in. Goodbye temporary path. And it is fixed. Okay, so here's another little interesting thing. The thing I feared most happened. The viewing area is climbable and the red pandas can escape through it. But here's a little weird thing. The solution, after trying to find out what they were actually climbing on, the solution turned out to be to just move the barrier around the climbing area so that when they are climbing on it, there's actually nothing for them to climb out to escape on. And now you will see, if we let the game recalculate the viewing area or the traversable area, it's no longer climbable at all, nor can they escape through it. So I don't know what's up with that. That is a really weird little thing. But hey, it's not climbable after all, so good going. Okay, here's just a super tiny little side note. I read the other day that you can actually also not only recolor the water, but also recolor the water effect. So we have a little splash effect in here. We have two fountain streams as well as a big ass waterfall. And I have recolored all of these water effects to be just a little bit more greenish and murky as well, to kind of suit our new water. And that looks really good. So yeah, awesome little feature there as well that you may not have known. Okay, so we are basically done with the red panda habitat. Let's go over the last couple of things. So starting over here, we've got the viewing area now complete with a donation sign. There is a little adventure trail going through the back here. We have fixed up all of the wood. The area is all in place. All the logs and whatnot are in. If we go around here, we have a new thing to look at, which is this real fake door, as I've been calling it. Yeah, this is actually something I had to fix up for the bear habitat as well. Looks like I have... Oh, yeah, of course, I can't use the bracket piece there. Silly me. But yeah, these doors, I had some actual wooden panels over here as a placeholder. Because last episode when I built the bear habitat, I didn't feel like making this real fake door yet. But now, of course, as I was finishing everything up, I wanted to make sure to have it in here. So, yeah, it's made out of the Planet Zoo banner vertical zebra pattern large, which you can recolor to just have one solid color. And then on top of that is a bunch of fun pieces to get the door pattern in there. So yeah, really like the way that it looks. It looks perfectly fake, which is exactly what we're going for here. So as we are at the back of the area, and we got a nice view of that, but we also just kind of zip past it. If we go through here, we see a little birdhouse, as well as the backstage area, which from here you can actually see inside it a little bit. There's some cages and whatnot, just a very little bit of detail for you to spot through here. Thought that was nice. I think this actual room over here is currently not in use in the real zoo. As you can see, I haven't fully detailed it out. It's just for the view through the window, really. But yeah, I think this is not really in use at the moment. This used to be a tapir habitat. I probably mentioned that already. And yeah, this was kind of the indoor shelter for the tapirs. So they had a little bath over here, and this was these were their cages and whatever. But yeah, the red pandas don't really need an indoor area, since they have these barrels. That's basically their indoor areas, and it's where they make their nests and stuff. So yeah, I think that room is not actually in use at the moment. But yeah, on the back here, we've got a little signpost. We have the access to the backstage, which is not for guests, and of course not entirely finished. This is we'll finish this up as we work towards the okapi stall, or the okapi stall. I don't know what it's pronounced really. But yeah, over here we have that little backstage. Not too detailed, just detailed enough. I really like these stone tiles over here, made out of the painted brick pieces, which have a very nice little square stone looking texture that you can recolor, and kind of jankified it a little bit, because that's what it looks like. I do like this kind of grate piece over here. It's used by made by taking a vent and some of these fence posts to give it some depth, because otherwise the grate piece or the vent piece is very flat. But like this, it looks like a propped up vent, as it was there in my reference photo. So yeah, not the most detailed building. The roof especially is just a mess, but I didn't feel like fixing it. It's serviceable, and it's a nice little background thing from when you're walking through here. What's also nice is on the back side of this door, it is actually green, which is pretty cool. And there's a little cage over here where I think the Corsac foxes come inside. Of course, this backstage does not have an interior, because it's kind of all just jank for the keepers to come inside of the red panda habitat. And oh, I gotta fix that up a little bit. But yeah, on the outside here, there's a couple small details that I haven't mentioned yet. I think there's this little thing which I think is used for training, so they can put some food in there and like do some checkups on the red pandas. I know that a lot of zoos do training with them to, yeah, be able to do medical checkups and stuff like that. I'm just repeating myself now. Another detail I noticed is that over here there was actually a bit of a bricked up area that was pretty much the exact same size as these holes. So I think it is just one of those holes that used to be over here that they closed up for whatever reason, which I thought was pretty interesting. And yeah, that is basically all the new stuff. So that is pretty much the end of the red panda area. Now I would end off the episode here, but it is currently Wednesday and I have until Friday to get this episode out. So I do kind of want to clean up this area a little bit more and get some more detail in before I end off the episode. So I'm just going to do that real quick and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so last little clip over here in the now new and improved Tedget Cam. Well, it's not really that new and improved, it's just they changed the speeds a little bit so you can actually walk around normally, and the shift is to sprint around at a little bit faster pace. I think it's a huge improvement. Yeah, I didn't really mention the episode or the update taking place. It was probably in that part where I lost the audio. But yeah, the update did take place. We did a live stream where we went around the zoo repainting all different bodies of water and lakes around the zoo. So yeah, that is a pretty cool thing, and we're going to be working on some billboard stuff in the future as well. But for now, this is it. So let's actually hop in here for a second and look at some of that nice dirty water that we got going on. And you can see the beautiful, beautiful fake door in there. We are playing in pause for a moment just so we got a couple of extra frames. And over here we got some of the last additions. So I did the foliage on this side of this path. I also redid most of the pathing around here because there were a couple of inconsistencies, like little pegs of wood sticking out from the natural path. So yeah, this side now has foliage. I might want to redo the rocks a little bit, add some tiger rocks in there, but I quite like how these are. By the way, I don't think I've shown that at all in either this video or the previous one, but the way I do these rocks is by getting two types of the same rock. So we have temperate rock 16 and dynamic moss rock 16, and I kind of just add those on top of each other, which creates a mossy temperate rock, which looks pretty cool. It works better with some rocks than with others, like the 2x4 rock works really well, and they just kind of blend together really well in my opinion. And weird thing is actually that this one, temperate rock 12 small, that rock only has a temperate rock variant. You look at 12 space or 12 small, like there's only a temperate rock 12 small. There's no tiger rock 12 small. There's no nothing rock 12 small, which is really weird. But yeah, that is a little thing I found out. Oh my god, it's so good that we can just walk around. I love the new texture cam. But yeah, over here we got to unfinished business. This is for the next episode, probably finishing up the Sitatunga habitat and this empty arboreal habitat, which used to be a white-cheeked gibbon habitat. I already got the viewing area in because I kind of needed that to be able to put the pathing in here. I didn't put any pathing in this viewing area simply because there isn't even an animal in here. There's not going to be any guests looking at it, so why bother? If I ever do get to putting something in here when we do like a version 2 of the zoo, season 2. Oh, you can see some of the glass. That's fine. If we ever do like a version 2, we might try it, but I mean it's gonna be very difficult because you're dealing with the water and stuff over there. But yeah, for now that looks fine. Then on the other side, of course, we have the red panda habitat that we built. Nothing has really changed there. I did quickly want to mention that building over there. I forgot to mention we actually went through a little design choice here. Well, it's not really a... Oh, crap. I still don't know if design choice is the right word, but yeah, I had to do a little figuring stuff out about the shape of this building. I found a video of the inside of this place and realized that there was like a diagonal wall here, which kind of fit things into place as to why I couldn't really see much over here and why it seemed from here that this window was on the edge of the building. Yeah, that kind of all clicked when I noticed that diagonal wall there. I don't know if the roof is correct the way it is now, but yeah, the roof is still a mess anyway. Anyway, time for me to start rambling. We have finished the red panda habitat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just like last time, I'd love to hear your feedback still on the progress update videos. Is there enough progress? Do you guys mind that we only finish about one habitat per episode? I sometimes see videos of people adding like entire sections to their zoo in one episode. I'm like, oh, I am way slower than that. But yeah, I do hope that it is interesting to you all. Yeah, as I said, in the next episode, we'll be moving on through kind of this area, or we can either do this habitat and the Sitatunga habitat, or we can move on to the okapi stall. So do comment on what you'd like to see first. But yeah, that is definitely going to be it from me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, stream, or whatever comes first. Bye bye!